That was a 170-inch deer. I mean, imagine a 200-inch deer.
Oh.
There's going to be so many questions.
It gets worse with every year.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Honestly,
bigger they are, it gets...
So, sorry.
No, you're right.
I've never been like an antler size. I've always been an age guy. I can't say always. Like the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Like 3. What was the start? 4-year-old or better at this point, pretty much. You start getting into that size deer. It's a different ballgame. Guys lose their minds.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, they do.
And you're right,
They really do.
Get so much public attention too, especially with what happened in southwestern Ohio this last year. You shoot a deer like that, DNR is probably going to knock on your door just to do their due diligence.
Yeah.
You almost...
It's almost better not to say a word.
Or
just show your buddies, and if they ask, hey, can I take a photo of that? Say absolutely not. It's like putting your kid on the internet.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Me and Dad have already made that very clear at the house. With if anyone ever shoots like an absolute giant, he's like, don't say a word.
Yep.
Like not saying everything's going to be legal about it. It's just we don't want that kind of rumor. And
you could get some jealous neighbor that makes up a complete lie and says, hey, I think they poached that, and then you got game wardens knocking on your door, and it's a week later, and how do you prove that here's where I shot it? You know, if you were to kill a 200-inch deer, if I were to kill a 200-inch deer, I would probably call the game warden and be like, hey, this is a giant deer. If you want to go track it with me, let's go.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember.
That's not a bad. Sorry,
No, a lot of
that's
people-
not a bad idea.
Yeah.
If you do shoot a deer of that class, call the game warden right away and say, "This is what happened. This is what's going on. Come confirm my story right now."
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember the Dan Kaufman buck. He did exactly that.
Michigan?
But
was that
no, that was Ohio.
That was Ohio. Okay.
He did exactly that. He shot it, waited till the next morning, contacted the game warden, and he shot it on film. Contacted the game warden. The game warden came, helped him track it, all on video. Game warden wrote it. He was like, "This is perfectly legitimate."
Yep.
There was no foul play there. He did it the right way, but 280-inch deer. Now I'm not saying you should smoke a 130. Don't be calling the game warden,
right?
Because he'd be like, "I got better things to do, man. Come on,
Bigger fish to fry.
I didn't think a 170-inch deer was worth doing that.
No.
You know, but you kill a potential state record, any 190 or above, I might be calling.
100%.
You know, but
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick. Hey, buddy. Nick's here, everybody.
That's dope.
You weren't stealthy. Pepper gave you away.
Yeah, we heard her barking. I listened to a podcast about a guy out in Utah that did that. He shot this extremely well-known. It was called the cemetery buck. You can Google it.
Oh, yeah, I've read this story.
Yeah, the guy's name's Devin Leonard. Mm-hmm. He shot this giant buck, and he did that. He called the game warden because this buck traveled. It was something insane. I don't want to speak for him, but it was like 30 miles from where he would winter to where he would be during deer season, because those deer out there migrate like crazy.
Yeah.
Well, either in the summer or the winter, I forget which it was, it would go down to this cemetery in this big city, and everybody had pictures of this thing, and it was like a 260 or 270-inch mule deer, just
tank.
Giant. Might not have been that big. Might have been 240.
Big enough.
Oh, huge. I mean,
big enough.
Yeah,
Why are you making a fuss about a 240?
yeah, just this giant mule deer. But it was so well known. I mean, there were like pretty famous photographers that would go there and take pictures of this deer, and it was like a city deer at that time, and you could get pretty close to it.
And then it wouldn't be a city deer.
When it went up in the mountains and it was hunting season, it was very elusive.
Yeah.
But when he killed it, he did that. He called the game warden, and he said it wasn't long after. Luckily, he had called the game warden because he had guys calling and saying that he poached it. That deer's in city limits. There's no way he did it. But that game warden went out there, public land. There's public land everywhere out west, and everything was legit. Yeah. But I mean, think about it. If he hadn't done that, how do you prove that? If somebody says a month later, I think this guy poached this thing in the city, you can't. How do you prove it a month later?
It's sad that now, if you shoot a big buck, you are guilty until proven innocent.
Yep.
No one takes your side of the story.
Yeah, it really
it's sad. The jealousy has become
unless you're
that
close
normal.
buddies, your close buddies and family would know, but
right.
Like you get a jealous neighbor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is like you said, it's sad.
The sad part is we're used to it now.
Yeah.
Well, it's yeah, kinda. I feel like our group, although new, like you and I have never been like that.
No.
I mean, we were probably a little jealous when we were teenagers, and,
I feel like
someone
when
shot
you're
a good
kid,
deer,
yeah,
but
you're always a little jealous of like your brother gets one and you don't. You're like, man, dang.
Yeah,
But like as you get older and more mature, I was more worked up being with Nick when he shot deer last year than I was shooting deer last year.
yeah,
It was cool to see.
That's the zone that you want to be in personally. Is that once you see a buddy succeed or someone else succeed legally,
Yeah.
like.
I
you wanna
root
be
for the
excited
people
for it.
around me. I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the way I look at
like
it.
if you're fighting resistance anywhere else, you're not doing it right.
Like I hope everybody here smokes a booner this year.
I
got does. I want does. I'm hungry. Man's got to eat.
I have just as much fun helping other people track their deer and drag their deer and gut them or what, or even sitting in the stand next to somebody as I do. So
You had me till drag. I'll still help.
Short drag.
I'll still help, but I'm not having fun.
I have fun. I have fun.
downhill.
I have fun watching them drag.
yeah, that part's fun.
Man, that looks like it
I
sucks.
love it. I do.
Good back here,
I
though.
love that part of hunting.
Actually, you're right. When you get to walk up on somebody who's standing over top of their own deer, and like when you called me for your 8-point last year, and you were that was muzzleloader, or you shot it with the muzzleloader.
Shot it with muzzleloader late gun season.
Okay, yeah, and you were happier than pig and mud.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It was a crappy,
sad.
rainy day in November, and
3 inches of rain in 2 hours. I mean, it was
like
horrible.
weather
For me,
weather
too.
doesn't matter. That was the best day of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those are the days you remember the most, are the really crappy ones. Because they usually, there's something always like, man, remember that time we went hunting? You good?
Here around the corner.
No, I thought he was grabbing a beer. He snuck an Arizona tea.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what I was saying now.
You've done that.
See,
a
jealousy.
couple of times. Yeah.
You got something you wanted.
Yeah, there's been a couple of times where I've been hunting that property that you and I have permission on, and I've gotten some, and I've called you, and you've been grocery shopping or whatever, and you've just dropped everything and came straight out with me just because you want to be there. And
Yeah.
I called you because I want you there.
Yeah.
I'm that way if Dad gets one and I'm not hunting, even though I know he's at the house already, and you know it's only going to be 20 minutes before he's back there. Like I'm coming over.
Yeah.
We're gonna get this. We're gonna get it done.
Yeah.
I can't think the last time. Excuse me. We got a text from one another and said, "Hey, I just shot a deer." And even if we were hunting, like
And didn't be like night's over.
Yeah.
This is the plan now.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's almost like someone gets sick in the family. I'll be right there.
Yeah.
But
Climbing
the
down the
good
tree as
side,
fast as you can.
the good side of the spectrum.
Well, that was like last year. Dad shot a buck, and I mean he shot it walking into his stand, and texted me. I've been in the stand for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
He's like, I just shot one. Just got down. I'm like, well, all right, let's go find it. He's like, I'll just
I
stay
love
where you're at. And I was like,
shooting
I'm gonna have more fun doing this than this is more fun now. This is more enjoyable for me.
Tracking deer is fun because
I do like it.
because you find yourself in panic mode or being frustrated, and you react to stress a very specific way, and that's something that our wives unfortunately most of the time have to deal with. But when you put a deer in that spot, you're getting inside that deer's mind, which is how you got to that deer to begin with. So when that's the deer under its normal stress, the stress of it being shot. I've always found that fascinating. Is how is this deer picking this path right now with this much stress, probably pain? Like, why is this the route?
Yeah. And it's cool too. I've heard guys that say they shoot a deer, they watch it go down, they know it's down, they know where it's at. They'll get down out of their stand and just walk straight to it. I'm like, you gotta follow that blood trail.
Every time.
There's not been a single blood trail that I've tracked and not learned something new.
Yeah, it's
You gotta
interesting to
follow
see,
that
like,
blood trail.
okay, you think you hit it good, but then you start looking at the blood, you're like, ooh, that looks like liver blood, or that looks like, you know, that's something different, not what you expected, and you learn a little bit.
And it's just that trying to figure out, trying to use all those tracking experiences to figure out why did he pile through this pile of brush when there's 6 feet of open right next to it. Why did he choose to just drive right through this hard stuff?
I don't know, this is going to sound really funny. You guys, all right, I'm going to relate a video game to hunting. Did anybody here play Call of Duty? What's the big map where you play online with everybody? Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
it's been so long since I played it. Oh, Tim the Tap Man, that guy does it all the time. Honey, No, nothing.
Drop a comment and let us know.
Yeah. Okay. But what I related to that game and hunting is that you're playing against real people online, and I played that game for a couple of years. Is that those guys want to eliminate your player, like in a bad way?
Yeah.
Kind of like how we want to do with hunting. I found so much information on not trying to get shot and my own positioning in the game that I learned that, and not only for offense for deer hunting, but defense and deer as well. And I was like, how am I relating an online game to actually hunting? But it is making a difference. I learned a lot from that game for deer hunting.
Right.
And so that tracking thing, when I was in a bad spot on the game, I would go this way because there was cover on this side. I would go that way because I knew what route they were going to take, and I knew exactly where I wanted to be because I had knowledge on that map. And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what the deer do. It's weird.
It is.
I hate that I said that out loud.
It's on record now.
We all have embarrassing moments.
It's part of my history.
My embarrassing moment happened with DJ on film, and luckily the audio didn't go through.
That was one of our better episodes, and no one can ever watch it because the audio failed. I'm so mad about that.
That was a funny one.
That was a good one. I was actually kind of mad about that.
Warzone. Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah.
Go.
Got it.
I knew once you said it.
Got it.
I couldn't think of it.
I'm going to start with the W.
I don't know if I would have heard. I was listening. I knew that.
She's hungry.
She's thinking about that party pack at Taco Bell.